Thank you for your patience, and for freeing me of the madness which plagued my mind. I have no idea how long I've been under that spell's influence. Ridiculous. Care for some tea? No? Well, suit yourself. Much better. Now then, you are far from home, I see. Do not look surprised. I can tell by the weapons and magics you carry, and your eyes. You have been exhausted by this land, have you not? Now that makes two of us. Quite frankly, out of all the worlds and spiraling dimensions rippling through the astral sea, Barovia is the most decrepit and insufferably miserable one I have ever encountered. Thankfully, I had the forethought to craft this place before I was stricken with my affliction. This mansion is a sphere of its own, carved and shaped by my magic and will. Nothing outside can get in. But I'm getting the sense you are not keen to hear of my adeptness at arcane construction, as much as I would like to distract myself with it. You want to know how to escape Barovia. You want to know about him, just as I once did. I know what you must think. How could I, the all-powerful plane-jumper Mordenkainen, become a mind-muddled vagabond squatting on the edge of a filth-ridden lake? And why, exactly, am I still festering here? Well, as much as I am loath to admit it, I am trapped here because of my own hubris. I had thought him just a vampire, but that man, that devil, is not to be underestimated. You see, he is the one who has the power to free you from this place. And regrettably, he only desires to keep you, and keep all of us, trapped in his cage. I speak, of course, of Strahd von Zarovich. I will not divulge the details of how I arrived here, unless you wish to discuss the particulars of multidimensional plane shifting through teleportation, arcana, and sigils. No. Pity. Needless to say, I was sucked in by magic and spat out of the fog, through no fault of my own. Frustrating, to be sure, but I was not deterred. This isn't the first time it's happened, after all. Indeed, I am quite familiar with Lands of Dread. They are isolated realms, you see, cut off from the great expanse of the universe by darker powers. I have encountered their many masters, some who knew of the power they wielded over their domains, others whom I educated, or slayed, before they became an issue to me, or their denizens. Thus, after recognizing my circumstances and conjuring this mansion for safekeeping, I set about finding the purveyor of this realm post-haste. It only took a few gold pieces and a handful of questions to make the downtrodden locals talk. They keep their rumors close here, but no one can resist speaking their minds forever. And Strahd is most certainly in the minds of every poor soul languishing in this place. They spoke tall tales of his power in hushed tones, stories of dragons being slain with a wave of his hand, of towns being swept away at his command. Complete hogwash, of course, designed no doubt to keep the feeble-minded and restless children in line. Or so I thought at the time. Meeting the people of Barovia only hastened my desire to be rid of this place, and the road of rumor and speculation led me straight to one destination. Castle Ravenloft. My reception at the castle was unusual. I had expected a fortress, guards poised to interrogate me, or hostility from his minions. I'd even prepared a number of spells should a conflict break out. Instead, no sooner had I approached the blackened walls of the keep, I was greeted at the entrance by a pair of servants. Poor, wretched things, pale and with quivering hands. Without a word, they ushered me through the gates and inside the castle proper. Neither dared to speak, their gaze firmly downcast. At the time, I assumed they were afraid of me, as a stranger in their midst. It didn't cross my mind that they were afraid for me. I was led to a parlor room, an awfully dreary abode, musty and dark, the heavy velvet curtains blocking out the outside world. And there, in an armchair beside the fireplace, was the one who I had come seeking an audience with. What's that? My initial observation of Strahd. He was rather unremarkable. You must understand. Over my years of planar travel, I have conversed with cosmic beings, stood toe-to-toe with bloodlusting demons. Perhaps to the uneducated peasants he was a monster to be feared, but to me, Strahd appeared little more than typical, dare I say, stereotypical vampiric fare. Dark hair, pale skin, pointed ears. And yet, his eyes. There was something within those crimson irises. Just for a moment, a fleeting emotion. I could not tell you what exactly. For as soon as I had noticed it, he buried it deep, along with whatever thought he had been mulling over, and covered it with a thick layer of indifference. Without breaking his gaze, he lowered a hand to the wine glass on the table beside him.
So, you are the one who has been skulking through my lands, asking too many questions.
Mordenkainen, a pleasure.
Mordenkainen. For what reason have you come to my castle?
I have come to offer a parley. I am aware you have the power to let those you choose pass out of Barovia. I hope we can discuss this matter and reach a quid pro quo, shall we say, for my release.
Is that so?
Indeed. Now then, allow me to elaborate. I have brought with me a collection of fine...
Did I invite you to sit?
Pardon?
Stand up.
My only intention is a civil discussion, I assure you.
What is it that you wish to show me?
A number of things that you will find of interest. In exchange for my departure, I shall leave everything in here as a parting gift. Each item in this satchel is one of a kind, and each one is coded with enough gold to...
Keep them.
Excuse... That is... Do you not wish to inspect them first?
I do not need to. I have no interest in such meaningless trinkets.
Ah, I see. Very well. In which case, allow me to bequeath you with the greatest gift I own.
And what would that be?
Lord Strahd, my experiences have spanned across eras and planes of reality. In my world, I am regarded as a master of the arcane. Agree to release me after my work is done, and I shall offer my expertise to you.
What use have I for your expertise?
Surely you wish to rule this land as an informed leader, do you not? I am more than happy, for a time, to be of assistance to you in that endeavor. Perhaps there is an enemy whom you wish to vanquish that I could advise upon, or something you desire that I can conjure. Perhaps even questions that burn in your mind, which I can help answer.
There is one question.
And that is?
Why are you here?
As I explained...
No, I shall explain. You are here in my castle because I allow it. You are here blathering and alive because I have chosen to permit it. You are a stranger to my lands, so I shall forgive your flagrant display of arrogance in my home. Yet, as your host and your lord, it is my responsibility to correct your behavior, and I shall do so by providing clarity. I do not want your gold. I do not want your knowledge. You are not permitted to leave my realm, and you never will be. Have I made myself clear, Master of the Arcane?
I had thought to bargain with Strahd for my exit, to curry his favor, as I had done time and time again with previous Lords of Tread. What a fool I was. Strahd is not the noble he dresses himself to be, nor is he a hedonistic beast like many of his undead kin. No, he is a fly-trap, a creature whose sole purpose is to ensnare others in his grip and watch them writhe at his behest. Without another word, he turned his back to me, waved me away as though I were nothing. The audacity of it! It took everything not to plunge an ice knife into his spine then and there. But it was neither the time nor place for such rash decisions. I was led back outside. My defeat of diplomacy only served to embolden the next course of action taking shape in my mind. As the gates began to close behind me, I glanced once more to that black-walled blight that is Castle Ravenloft, and in one of the uppermost windows, I glimpsed those dreadful crimson eyes, watching me with scorn. Let him enjoy this while he could, I thought, for there was only one solution to my predicament now. Strahd must die. I bided my time. Using magic to disguise myself, I explored the domain and assessed what materials I could access for my plan. Of course, I can conjure all manner of materials within my mansion for spellcasting, but items here are only usable within the confines of these walls. It did cross my mind to lure him in, so that I may have the advantage, but doing so risked drawing the mansion from this demiplane and into Barovia proper. If that were to occur, the mansion would become shaped to his will, not mine. No. Any altercation needed to be done in the open. It wasn't ideal, challenging the spider in his web, but with careful planning, I could do it. I just needed to find the right materials and lay the trap. I spent a few days traveling through the valley, gathering what I could before heading to the village of Vallaki for the final components that I needed. As you are aware, it is one of the larger settlements in Barovia, a good enough place to blend in, and near enough to the forest for me to acquire natural spell components. It was also a stone's throw away from the lake where I intended to put my plan in motion. Vampires and large bodies of water often don't mix well, after all. In the seclusion of my room at the inn, I assembled my arsenal. I took stock of the components for my evocation spells, imbued my staff with magic and silver, and whiled away the evening making the final calculations in my spellbook. Come morning, I would head out for the lake, and by tea time the man would be slain, and I would be traveling through the plains once more. Perhaps that is how it happened. Perhaps I was so enraptured by my planning, by my own self-assured success, that I lost sight of my surroundings, and prying eyes found their perch. Or perhaps it was merely Strahd playing with my ego. Perhaps he knew what I had been scheming from the moment I left his presence, and amused himself with my struggle. I should have been more careful. I should have known. I set out for the lake at dawn. I decided to walk rather than fly to the lake. To draw less attention, yes, but truth be told, I just wanted time to think. In my mind, I was already one step away from freedom, and my mind yearned to map my next excursion through the multiverse. Where to next? A cruise on the cosmos, perhaps? I'd even take a foray into the hells once this business was concluded. At least they know a good bargain when they see one. However, as the lapping waves grew louder and the expanse of the lake came into view, I spied a figure standing on the lake shore. There was no contempt in Strahd's gaze, no rage, only a cold, intellectual grimace of inspecting a specimen squirming on their slab. He was a shadow against the dark waters, and he was waiting for me. A sudden gust of wind struck my back. Ash-colored clouds swirled in the grey sky, faster and faster, darkening with each passing second. The vortex roared with thunder, and the lake waves answered in chorus, crashing and churning fiercely. Somewhere in the chaotic din, a pack of wolves howled under snapping branches, the forest tearing itself apart to bow toward the eye of the storm, to the man standing in the center of it all. How could I have missed such raw power? It was absurd. I had met him in close quarters. I had looked him in the eye not a few weeks prior and felt nothing. But even with 50 feet between us, a powerful aura radiated from him. More powerful than any dreadlord I have yet faced. Fathomless, even. It felt as though I were not gazing at a man or a vampire anymore, but at darkness incarnate. No. This had to be an enchantment, a ruse, a trick of the mind to make me falter. I drew my staff, spell components igniting in the winds. I would not, I could not let him keep the upper hand.
Is that any way to welcome your lord?
Turned to mist, have you? Cheapest vampiric trick in the book.
All you needed to do was accept your place. I forgave you for your insolence. With time, I could have even accepted you, an outsider, as a resident of my home. Instead, I discover your plot to destroy me. You spit in the face of my kindness.
Kindness? You wouldn't know kindness if it sticked you through the heart.
Oh, but I do. Surrender and swear fealty to me. And maybe, just maybe, I will leave you with enough strength to kneel at my feet. Resistance is a fruitless endeavor. I recommend against it.
Damn you. I will not disgrace myself and surrender to a pompous vampire like...
You were able to block my attack. Fascinating.
Yes. It seems this exchange will be more interesting than I thought. You are a mage like myself.
No. I am a real master of the arcane.
Our battle took to the skies. Wind lashed against my skin as I conjured fire, ice, lightning into a kaleidoscope of power, rallying the very elements to my command. Comets of raw power swerved around my fingertips, and I launched them with ferocity. Watched them blaze and burn and die in the blackened tendrils he evoked. He swerved gracefully between my spells, dashing through the air on clouds of smoke, as though carried on the arms of the night itself. Our spells clashed like colliding constellations, igniting the skies of Barovia in great flashes of magical light. Strahd threw his arms wide and cast a wave of noxious blight in a torrent towards me. Yes, this was my moment. A snap of my fingers was all it took to teleport in front of him and thrust my hands against his chest. Disintegrate! A direct hit, straight to the heart. In a matter of moments, Lord Strahd von Zarovich would be dust, scattered to the winds, and this whole ordeal would be over.
I admit, that almost tickled. Almost.
No.
Pitiful.
The lake was a tomb with no entrance, no exit. Just an endless, choking void. This was how I would die. No, I couldn't fathom it. Death I could understand. Death in a blaze of glory. Death in pursuit of the secrets of the universe. Death to a noble cause. Any one of these I have pictured time and time again in my travels, each one a fitting end to my existence. But to die in defeat. All the spells I had conjured, all the power I could muster, had done little more than singe the edges of his cloak. I, the eternal Mordenkainen, walker of plains, had lost. What a humiliating end to a life. As my consciousness slipped, I took consolation in the numbness of the freezing lake waters. Pain, at least, would not greet me at my end.
Still alive, are we? Good.
I could scarcely believe my eyes. He dragged me from the lake. He saved me. But why? To humiliate me further? To turn me? Magic blazed in my hands once more. If I could just make him forget, I could blur his mind long enough to make my escape. In my half-drowned state, fleeing was the only thing on my mind, so I raised my hands and...
Farewell, Mordenkainen.
It gets hazy after that moment. My spell to modify his memory, he deflected it and accelerated its effects. It was like a dream from that point onwards. Or rather, an endless nightmare. Who I was, what I was doing here, where I had come from. It all seemed so far away. He left me there, at the lakeside, and there I remained. Until you found me, of course, just a few hours ago. I would have been there for countless eons were it not for you. So, thank you. I cannot figure it out. Why did he leave me alive? To humor himself? To pity me? It doesn't matter anyway. My spellbook is lost, my staff as well, and it will take time for me to return to my full strength. Even now, I feel drained like I never have before. I am no threat to Strahd. But you could be. Yes, something is keeping him alive. Something more than his undeath. So now that you've heard my tale, I implore you, do what I could not. Temper your ego. Prepare yourself out of sight if you can. For one way or another, Strahd von Zarovich must reign no more. And only you can stop him.